And our third main topic today gets submitted to us by Daniel Hogan. Daniel Hogan writes, during an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, president of 20th Century Studios Steve Asbell said a new Planet of the Apes movie could start shooting by late summer, early fall. While I'm not against a new Planet of the Apes film, I'm not that enthusiastic given that they have a weak director. I'm not sure that they have a weak director in Wes Ball at the helm. And I'm not certain how you move this franchise forward without Cesar. Where is your excitement level for another Apes movie? All right, thanks a lot for saying that in, man. And yeah, listen, they actually announced a while ago that they were going to do another Planet of the Apes movie. That news came out ages ago. We knew about that, and Wes Ball, who directed the Maze Runner movies, not a lot else, but he directed the Maze Runner movies, and we'll talk about that in a second, that he was going to be directing it and all that kind of stuff. But frankly, we haven't really heard anything since. And I was kind of skeptical a bit when they first talked about this. Are they really going to do another one? I'm not really sure that they are. But now news came out and said that they are indeed doing another one. This comes to us from the folks over at Joe Blow, who write the following. It was announced that Wes Ball would be tackling the new Planet of the Apes back in 2019, but it's been a while since we've heard much about the project. While speaking with The Hollywood Reporter, 20th Century Studios president Steve Asbell dropped a brief update about the film, saying that they're expecting a draft very shortly and that they hope to go into production by the late summer/early fall. It's not much, but I'll take it. Of course, there's no guarantee that the new Planet of the Apes movie will actually start shooting later this year, but it's good to know that the project is still in active development. I need my apes fix. Now, all right. You wrote in and asked, hey, should we be excited about this considering it's got a weak director? I don't believe that Wes Ball is a weak director. John, are you saying you love the Maze Runner movies? No. But if you look at the source material, and no offense intended to fans of the source material, when you look at a lot of other young adult stuff that they try to bring to the big screen, I would propose to you that Wes Ball made those movies infinitely better than they had any business being. As a matter of fact, I actually quite like the first Maze Runner.
I actually like all the Maze Runners.
Yeah, I think I really quite do enjoy the first one. The second two didn't work quite as well for me. But when you look at what the source material is and where it comes from and the whole premise of it, it's like, hey, these movies should be garbage. These movies should be absolute garbage, but they're not. And I think that says a lot about Wes Ball. Now, again, we really haven't seen much else of a sample size. So I know he's got a background in visual effects and stuff like that too. So we don't really have enough. So I would say that I don't think we should proclaim that this upcoming Apes movie has a weak director, because I don't think that's the case. We need a bigger sample size, but for right now, I don't think that's the case. Can this series move on without Cesar? Absolutely it can. If you tell the right story, you can. I mean, again, this reminds me of when the first Venom movie was coming out, and a lot of people proclaimed, you can't do Venom without Spider-Man. Yes, you can. It was a huge hit, and it was great. When they said they were going to do a Joker movie without Batman, a lot of people, you can't do a Joker movie without Batman. Turns out you can. Made $1 billion, nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards. Now, there's a little bit of a difference in that they hadn't already been established with Spider-Man or Joker, granted. But you can move these stories forward, and you can move forward without Cesar. Now, I think it's really interesting when you go back a ways. This is going back a little while. But when Wes Ball was talking about what his vision for this thing would be, I think it makes a lot of sense. He said the following. Those last 3 movies are one of the great trilogies we have in modern movie history. They are just so well done. They honored the original movies that they sprang from, the Charlton Heston movies, but they grounded it in a modern sensibility, and it just worked. Cesar is one of the great movie characters that we'll have throughout time. And I agree with him. I think Cesar is like one of the greatest movie characters ever. So what do you do to follow that up, right? At the same time, I wasn't interested in doing a part 4 either. We want to also do our own thing. Ball continued by saying that they have a way of staying in the universe that was already created in the previous 3 films, but we're also opening up ourselves up in being able to do some really cool new stuff. And you know what? I'll tell you what, to me, this is the perfect approach. So he's saying this isn't going to be Planet of the Apes Part 4, but it is still going to be in the same universe. I have a feeling they're going to fast forward like maybe 100 years, like not thousands of years, but they're going to fast forward a bit to see how this ape culture. And by the way, despite the fact that the last ape movies had the total lie, the total fib, deception, Ray, of a title called War for the Planet of the Apes, when there was no war in that movie at all. Every poster, every still image, everything promised, oh, we're going to see the big war, and it never happens. So we still need to see this big war. We still need to see this war, and that could be something that they do, see the rise of new characters and all this kind of stuff. So I think there's something promising there. But yes, I was skeptical this would happen, but it sounds like 20th Century Fox is making this a priority, and it sounds like they could go into production as early as this summer. And if so, kudos to them and good on them.
I would actually want this movie to take place a little bit later.
I agree.
I meant as in like do the movies later, like maybe a couple of years from now. Only because this movie was like crazy, like the effects in it. I just want to see like the jump of effects from this one. And I don't think we've gotten ahead that much from the last Apes that we saw.
But here's the question about that, and I always bring this up when we talk about visual effects. There's no more jumping left to do. Like, when you watch these Planet of the Apes, and they're a couple years old now, Cesar, 100% looks real.
Yeah, definitely.
100% looks real. Thanks also, and comes across as very real thanks to the brilliant performance by Andy Serkis in it too. But it's like, what's the next jump?
Yeah, true. You're right.
Like, if it already looks completely real, I was about to make a joke, but again, filter between brain and mouth, fully activated. But like, what's the next big, like, honestly, we've been saying for a while, the next big and the only remaining big leap forward in visual effects is the uncanny valley. The fact that they can't quite make human beings completely believable yet. But that's it.
Yeah.
Like, we've got dinosaurs and spaceships and planets blowing up and lava explosions and apes. I mean, I don't know where they go next.
I'm sorry. It's just it's like I have this extreme belief in humans that like we could just push things further, even though we never thought, I just believe humans are amazing. Like when someone draws something on YouTube and just
Boss Logic.
Yeah. It's like, man, I love this kind, this species.
And listen, to your point, I'm probably sure, now I was too young, I'm probably sure that when Star Wars came out, I'm probably sure there were a lot of people saying, well, that's it. This is as good as visual effect. This is perfection in visual effects. It can't get any better than this. Well, fast forward 4 decades, and we know that wasn't true. And maybe me saying now, what's left for there to do? Maybe in 20 years, that statement will sound dumb when they're doing things that we never would have imagined. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about the fact that they're saying that they're going to actually be going into production, possibly, on a new Planet of the Apes movie like this summer? Are you interested in another Planet of the Apes movie? I gotta admit, I'm pretty curious about it. Maybe you have no interest at all. Whatever you guys are thinking, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.